大家好，我很高兴来到台湾。Respectable Director General Liu, dear leaders and partners from business organization and our dear customers. I am Stephen CORBIN, the Chief Finance Officer for Asia Pacific in Dassault Systèmes. And I am very, very happy to be here with you today. So before I start talking about virtual twins for sustainable innovation, I'd like to remind what Samson Kao has said about our commitment to Taiwan. We have decided a few years ago to transform the branch that we had in Taiwan into a proper legal entity. And we also decided to invest more and more to sustain the development of the country. And we can see a lot of innovation in Taiwan. And as the leader in the software, in industrial software, we want to continue to support this innovation and support also our partners to develop and to grow all together. Do you know what this is? Can you guess what this is? And where is it? You can see the vines, right? The grapes. So this is in the famous region of Bordeaux, right? It's the first time that we had such horrible wildfire in the region of Bordeaux. But it's actually not only in this region. It was very strange. It was everywhere. And it was 10 times more this year, this summer. Maybe you have seen in the news. It was 10 times more than the average of the previous year. You see from 28 to 21. So this is creating in France a sense of urgency, right? People are feeling this fear, this insecurity in regards to climate change. And if you, of course, look everywhere in the world, it's basically the same. We have more and more natural disasters, floodings, wildfires these past years. And we see as well now a very significant impact of the pollution of the air that we know for a long time, but also pollution of water, pollution of food. And we, in this study in the middle from the reported from the Guardian, you can see that we have even found some plastic particles in the fetuses, which is pretty scary in my view. And when I was preparing, I was thinking, okay, should I make this introduction, right? A bit concerning, a bit worrying. And I was like, everybody now is feeling this consensus, is agreeing about climate change. But I don't know if you have some Donald Trump in the room. Not everybody agrees. Some people are still skeptical. But I have a bad news for you, is that everyone will have to change. Everyone should change because we see governments taking actions, issuing new standards, new taxes in order to force the change. And if it's not the governments, it is investors. Investors are looking for more sustainable companies to invest in. They even have some rules to prevent investment in some companies that doesn't commit and doesn't develop sustainability. And even a step further, your customers will be asking, and we see our customers coming to us, right, for this concern, which is OEMs or any member, any company in the supply chain is asking for carbon footprint from the supplier. And it's not only carbon footprint now, it's commitment to carbon emission reduction. And this is more and more common that to maintain as a supplier, to maintain your position in the supply chain, you will need to improve and to commit to this carbon reduction, right? So I'd like to now run a short video to show our connection in Dassault Systèmes with companies already very much connected to sustainable innovation. So you see in this short video a few companies that are already very much contributing to sustainability, like electric vehicles or wind turbines. And basically, even this company have to commit on their carbon footprint and on their reduction of carbon emission, right? And as a finance person, I really like data points. So I wanted to illustrate this increase of commitment from companies towards carbon emission reduction with this SBTI. SBTI is a system, science-based reduction target for which Dassault Systèmes committed as a company to measure and to report our carbon reduction emission. But you can see that it's a lot of companies and more companies committing, not just to report, to reduce their carbon footprint. So now I'd like to say a few words about Dassault Systèmes in regards to sustainability. If you see this, this corporate purpose, it has been already issued 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Dassault Systèmes provides business and people with 3D experiences universe to imagine sustainable innovation capable of harmonizing product, nature, and life. This is very powerful. This is already several years ago, and this is already about sustainable innovation. So we have a strong belief in Dassault Systèmes in this domain. And you know, today a lot of people are talking about metaverse. Metaverse is the new hot topic, right? But when you see 3D experience universes, that's what we call today virtual twins, right? And the virtual twins are basically the industrial metaverse. This is all the same. This is about digitalization and modeling of the the real world in the virtual world, or vice versa. So Dassault Systèmes is a 20,000 employee company, more than 20,000. We have more than 300,000 customers in the world. We have 180 offices, and we are close to 5 billion euro in revenue now. And basically, you see, we have 41% of our employees in research and development, right? And when I say we are really striving for innovation, this illustrates really well our investment in innovation. And there are two KPIs on this chart that I really like. The one that I frame with a white frame and a red one is that we have been rated as number 9 most innovative company in the world by Corporate Knights. And from Standards & Poor's, we entered their sustainability index at the 5th position for the software sector in 2021. So this is an external recognition of the effort and you know, all what we put in place in order to contribute to sustainable innovation. So our conviction is that we have the profound belief that virtual world extend and improve the real world. Because in life, there is no rehearsal. You cannot try, experiment, imagine new things. But virtual world are the way to collaborate between different disciplines, to use precise and multi-domain simulations, to break silos, right? Between departments, we often experience that, break silos and connect people to go quicker in the decision process, and basically to have better engineering, better manufacturing, better processes, and increase productivity, quality of the outcome, but also at the same time, measure and reduce the carbon footprint. So if you look at what we call the product life cycle, right? The product life cycle from different departments, different steps in the development of the product. Virtual twins can be used at every step of this value cycle. Look at research and development. Today, we see a lot of innovation, a lot of our customers working on material science. And we have a solution called BioVia, which helps researchers to develop new molecules and simulate new molecules in the virtual world with virtual twins in order to improve not only the material by itself, but also develop new functionalities on top. Two good examples are glass. The glass material research is very hot today, and also batteries, of course. A lot of research and innovation around batteries. Now, the design and engineering phase is a very important one because it has been estimated by McKinsey, the famous McKinsey consulting firm. It has been estimated that 80% of the sustainability and environmental impact of a product is already locked at the design phase. And for this, we have, I will tell you a bit more in the next slide, and we have also a very important session this afternoon about eco-design, which is targeting this 80% of the product impact. Then you see the different steps: manufacturing, transportation, the product in use, and then the decommissioning and the end of life. And the challenge, of course, is to connect all of this in a single source of data, right? Which is what we call the 3D experience platform in Dassault Systèmes. But let me just take two examples from these different areas where virtual twins are critical. If you look at transport and logistics, we have a solution that is called Quintic, and that is able to simulate and propose the best route or the best process for a given problem, right? So, for example, we have a very famous parcel delivery company who use Quintic to simulate in the virtual twin the route of their drivers before they take, the car to go on the road. And they were able, with the virtual twin, to decrease by 10% the mileage, the distance that the drivers were driving, which means millions of dollars of savings, and of course, reduces as well the carbon impact of their activity. Another example which that I like very much because it's very close to the daily activity of many companies is what we can do with preventive maintenance. With IoT now, we have the capacity with the virtual twin to measure what is happening in the shop floor in real time and use this data to prevent the breakage of a given part, so that not only you can replace the part before it breaks and before the production line is stopped, right? But also can transmit this data to the engineer who can rethink about the part and find a more durable, a more sustainable part to increase the durability of the production line. So it saves a lot of waste, because when you stop a production line, you have to throw away some subpart or some product on the line, and also restart takes energy and have people wait down the line of the production. So that's a very concrete usage of the virtual twin connected with real world that can improve productivity and also carbon footprint. So eco-engineering. As I said, there is a very important session during the afternoon. But basically, what I'd like to mention here is that it's totally new. Everybody is struggling to think, okay, how are we going to measure our carbon footprint? There are a lot of literature, right? The scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, energy consumption, fossil consumption, inputs from the supplier. I mean, it's a quite complex problem. But as we said, the good news, and that's a domain where we are quite strong in terms of application. Good news is that the design is already 80% of the problem. But then the question is the measurement, okay? The measurement. And to me, as a business and finance person, the measurement is critical, right? If you don't have the proper KPI and the proper measurement system, it's like you're driving a sports car very fast at night on a small road in the south of France without headlights, basically without headlights. Who wants to drive in this car with me? Nobody, right? This is pretty dangerous. And this is why we introduced in 2022, it's a few months we are working on this one, we introduced what we call life cycle assessment. So let me give you, with a short video, some insight on life cycle assessment.
As we enter the decade of action, companies urgently need to deliver sustainable innovations for a circular economy. But how can leading innovators consider a vast array of interrelated factors and understand their environmental footprint from end to end? Lifecycle assessment on the 3D Experience platform helps you discover the total environmental impact of products, processes, and services with contextual and reliable information for all. From raw materials to manufacturing and recovery, data is directly available from the earliest stages for designers and engineers to determine the best trade-offs and achieve measurable benefits. It's time to work together and empower your innovation teams to make smarter decisions fast. Put sustainable innovation at the heart of your business with the 3D Experience platform.
So basically what we see in this video is the addition in your design and engineering process of a data intelligence layer. It's a new data intelligence layer to manage the carbon footprint and value your decision, because it has a cost. That's at some point also a topic, right? A decision to make. So with this solution, we are capable to measure, to value your decision. So now, talking about the impact, we did a study with Accenture in order to see, okay, what's the impact of virtual twins in the real world? What could be the impact? And for this, it was a deep work. And for this, they took 5 use cases in these several domains that you see, construction and cities, with the objective to reduce the energy consumption. Consumer packaged goods, same with the eco design to reduce the impact by 80%. The transportation and mobility to accelerate the time to market for next generation of mobility solution. In life science, they targeted especially the manufacturing and pharmaceuticals. And the last one was high-tech, where they try to include, which today we don't do, unfortunately, and we are all, I mean, I'm a geek, so I'm very guilty, you know, about not being in a circular economy system for the high-tech products, right? So they use they took these 5 use cases, and basically at the end, they could make the estimation that the impact would be $1.3 trillion of value and 7.5 gigatons of CO2 emission reduction. Basically, so this is with these 5 cases by 2030, right? So several years of reduction. But still, 7.5 gigaton is the entire impact of a year of transportation in the world. The entire impact of a year of the transport sector in the world. So it's pretty significant. Oh, sorry. So we have several customers examples to illustrate what we can do with virtual twins. But of course, we have many, so I wanted to take just a few of them. So first, I am on time, and also not to bore you. But I took 4 cases starting by construction. I don't know if you know this company, Bouygues. They are a French construction company. It's a leader in France, but it's operating internationally. And basically, they were able to, with the virtual twin, to think differently. They did not before tested a lot of solutions and brainstorm on finding solution. Why? Because in the real world, you cannot have so many tests, right? But with the virtual twin, they were capable to develop something that is new for them, which is a low carbon autonomous house, right? It's a real project in Grenoble, so it's a real impact, and you can compare. It's very easy because you have the consumption of the building before, the other building, and you have the consumption of the new building, right? So this is something that is proven, and I'm sharing this because there are, as I said, a lot of development of Taiwan, and for the development of new facilities and new plants, this is a way to measure and see the impact of the factory and the processes for the new factories. Another one, Meta board. So this is about the packaging. And what is very special in packaging is that everybody, almost every company is impacted by packaging, right? Because your product at some point may be in a packaging. So what I really like in this, in this example is that they were able to improve significantly the weight and the consumption of materials for the packaging. And this may be very important for a lot of companies, because when you will measure your carbon footprint, you will have to integrate this as an input from the supplier. You will have to integrate in your measurement the carbon impact of the packaging. So the fact that it's possible to improve significantly, it's good for all of us as companies. Then Nabetsuko Corporation, it's a Japanese engineering company, and this one is interesting because it's a very special application, right? But it solved a big problem. It was about simulation and finding the best setup of the gear for the wind turbine. And this was not only about braking, it was about finding the best solution to increase the durability of the wind turbine. Because there are a lot of forces, a lot of people are complaining about the impact of this wind turbine in terms of recycling. So more we can increase the durability of the wind turbine, better is the ROI. Better is the ROI of the wind farm, right? So that was a critical one, and that was done in a virtual twin of the wind turbine. Last example is I love it because it's a startup, and like many startups, you know, we have a long history in transport and mobility in Dassault Systèmes, and they are working on the electrification of mobility. So they are trying to solve problems for mobility companies existing for already some time as a consultant, and they choose our solution on the cloud. Full 3D experience, full application on the cloud. So it's going for them very well. They are developing very well. They are working on a very hot topic. You see a powertrain, electricity, power sources. So that's a very good reference for us to accelerate. Yes, thank you. In the transport and mobility. So finally, we have seen the why. I think we almost all agree on the why. We have seen the what, we have seen the how, but the how is only the surface, right? I'm not a business consultant, I'm just the CFO. But I know the customer case because I see the PO from the customers. So we have seen the surface of the how, and then you may tell me, okay, but this doesn't solve my problem. And if you tell me this, I'm going to tell you, okay, what are your problems? And it's not even what are your problems, it's what are your opportunities for tomorrow. But then there is something very difficult we did not discuss, but I think Mr. Zhan discussed this because I saw on one slide, and I asked my neighbor if I understood well the slide, even if it was in traditional Chinese. And basically, what is the most difficult thing in any industry, any transformation, even in sport, even in... It's change. It's change. And to change, there is one very important thing that I saw, Mr. Zhan, and you're right, it starts by the leadership. It starts by the leadership. So I think now it starts with your leadership in the room. And tomorrow, as decision maker, if you want better results, better growth, and a more sustainable growth, it is your decision and your effort as well. It's not easy to embark everyone in this transformation, but the good news is that we are here to help you. Thank you for your attention.